Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today, I have an idea. I have an idea of taking all the books that I have, that I cherish, and that I use, like around my house, because it's really difficult for me to read. But I listen to audiobooks and take these books. I'm gonna take these books, and I'm going to go through it and just randomly choose one, a verse or whatever from each one, like a little like a excerpt from each book. Like everybody just think these videos to make these videos is be easy, but I like to say that it takes a lot of trial and error in the mind before I could turn this camera on. And when I do turn this on, it's like do or die kind of energy sometimes. So I'm trying to feel my way into this a little bit better every day, each day. So let us start with this crazy idea. First, we have the book Don't Let Anybody Steal Your Dream by Dexter R. Yeager. I'm going to just flip through it like this. I'm not gonna watch. I just close my eyes. Okay, I think I'm. Okay. Ah! So we have here associate with winners. Well, I'm gonna read. When I open it here, right? So I'm gonna read this, and then this is associated with winners here. That is that, but I'm gonna read this here. I'm sorry, my eye is kind of itchy because I put on makeup. And it's itchy now, but remember that the closer you get to success, the harder it is to reach. What? Wait, you know what I think about that? I think when you say remember that the closer you get to success, the harder it is to reach. I feel like you start to compare yourself to people who have created stuff already. But that's the thing, like you don't compare yourself to anybody. If you're comparing yourself to anybody, compare yourself to yourself. That's it. The only competition you have in this life is with yourself. And I believe very strongly that you are success. That's it. You are success. You don't reach for success because you're already successful. It's an embodiment. So it's that you can't get to it. Associated with us. Let your closest friends will brand you as a winner or loser. The crowd you associate with will determine what people think of you. Unlike the electrical charges in a battery, opposites do not attract. You feel most comfortable with people like you. Those who have similar interests, opinions, lifestyles, and most easily win your friendship. Those who constantly build you up and share in your aspirations are the ones to which you like to cling. Here's all I'm gonna read from this part here, and yeah, take that and do that with whatever you want to do with it. I'm having like the thoughts I'm having. Eventually, I'd be able to say certain things, but not right now. Okay, so I have this book that I borrowed from my great aunt. It's called Failing Forward by John C. Maxwell. And let's do it again. Ooh, we have two more books. This is how this reading gonna go. This is so crazy, I don't want to make any comments on that one because I feel like this book, not my philosophy, is just like a little bit off in some beliefs, but that's okay. We recognize that we're not picking up any and everything. Woo! Let's see what we have. A surprise at Christmas. What? Okay, I'm just gonna read it. I don't want to cry. I don't want to read it actually. Like I feel like this book here is literally the worst book out of the four. What is this video? I literally feel it. The book, you know what the book? The energy of this book, bro. I don't like the energy of this book. Jesus. If you always do what you've always done, then you will always get what you've always gotten. Exactly. You keep yourself on the cycle if you keep making the same decisions. That is why, in order to break cycles, in order to become the master cycle breaker that you are, you need to do something different. That's it. You need to do something different. And that is me actively feeling forward. Sometimes the first idea you have gets you to the next one. And then you realize, okay, well, the first idea not going to work for me anymore, but it was beneficial because it led you to the second idea, which is just look with your eyes. Don't close your eyes. Look with your eyes, and just you're not going to obviously know exactly what it is because you're not so smart. And it's okay. Do I have something in this book? I feel like I have something inside it. Oh yeah, I do. I'm sorry, my nose feels itchy. Like it feels itchy. I need to put on one of those nose strips and yeah. Let's see. The book name is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Yeah. Okay. What it means to begin with the end in mind. If you participate seriously, okay. I know there's a whole visualization. I can't read this. There's a whole exercise. Wait. I love that I have exercises in this book. I need just like a quote so I could just run with the quote, you know? Like I don't want to oh my, somebody wrote, I think my dad did this. I think my dad used to read this book because I got this book from mom. It says, oh, what did he what did he highlight? Lift off. Lift off takes a tremendous effort, but once we break all out of the gravity pull, our freedom takes on a whole new dimension. Like any natural force, gravity pull can work with us or against us. The gravity pull of some of our habits may currently be keeping us from going where we want to go. But it is also gravity pull that keeps our world together, that keeps the planets in their orbits and the I need something to pinpoint. There's a whole story. This is a whole okay, this is an overview. Why? If I have anything in here that I could use to talk about, because my brain is more philosophical than you know, is what I could talk about. Ooh, paradigms of interdependence. Let's put no. This book is just it needs to simplify. I wonder if I could ask ChatGPT to simplify this book. I'm going to ask Chat to simplify this book for me because that is so confusing to my brain. I cannot even tell you, cannot even begin to explain to you how confusing that was to just go through that book. But this last, but very much my favorite book in the whole world right now. Well, because I the favorite book that I own actually. I don't have any other books that like these are the books that I am read. But here we have here The Greatest Secret. I painted it because I was like, this is so white. I was like, this would look so pretty if I painted it. I'm a painter and an artist. I do custom work with my designs. Oh, yeah. I am grateful to reach this fine reading. I mean, this is a reading, apparently. But this is my favorite book. Oh my gosh. Oh, it smells so good. Oh my gosh. I really love the material of these pages. I want my pages to be like this when I release my work. Oh, look, I did a drawing. I did a drawing in my book. I did. Ta-da! I literally love my art. It's amazing. Okay, so this is the spiritual side of the reading. The other part was just me having a little bit of a brain glitch. 11 minutes and 44 seconds of me having a brain glitch. I should just upload this whole thing just so. I should just upload the whole thing just so. Well, which part am I reading? me check. I want to read something from here. Okay. I think I find a spot. Okay, find a spot. Are you really the person you think you are? Considering all the effort given to bolstering the ego, the emphasis on self-esteem, reputation, achievement, physical appearance, material acquisition, it's a miracle awakening ever happens at all. The ego, the imagined self, the pretend self, the separate self, and the psychological self are a few of the names that teachers and sages have given for our mistaken identity. All of these descriptions refer to a body and a mind that together make up what we call a person. When we refer to ourselves, most of us are referring to this person that we think we are. A person is what you experience, it is not what you are. There's no such thing as a person. If you say I am a person, then you have to say which one. There was a baby once upon a time, there was a teenager, there was a toddler, and then this whole process will be over soon. That's Deepak Chopra, a quote from Deepak Chopra. That's wait, I'd have different. Who said there's no such thing as a person? If you say I'm a person, then you have to say which one. There's a baby once upon a time, there's a teenager, a toddler, and then this whole process will be over soon. Deepak Chopra said that. And then I have different quotes from different people, like from Jacko Refe, Munji. Some of them I don't even know, but okay. Your personality is constantly changing. So if your personality is you, which person are you? Are you the angry person, the loving person, the frustrated person, the irritated person, or the kind person? You probably think you're all of them, but you can't be all of them. Because if you were, the angry person would never disappear. It would always be there. Or if the frustrated person were really you, when the frustrated person disappeared, a bit of you would disappear with it. But that doesn't happen, does it? You're here for that. You're here before the angry person appears, and you're here after the angry person disappears. You're here before the frustrated person appears, and you're here after they disappear. Clearly, you're not changing moods or personality. Personality is a useful tool, but it cannot define who you are. Who you are lies far beyond who you think you are. The biggest obstacle to discovering the truth of who we essentially are is the belief that I am a cluster of thoughts, memories, feelings, and sensations. Together, these form an illusory self or identity. The belief that I am this identity is the only obstacle. All our psychological problems are due to this imaginary self. It always comes down to mistaking ourselves for this. The person only seems to exist because of the persistent and unquestioned belief that there is an actual person there. But the person or ego can't exist without the belief in it. It's only imagination. The truth, there is no person at all. The only resident of this house of the body is the pure self, which is what you are. The rest is all made up. There are not two tenants in this body, there only ever been one. Belief in ego gives a sense of reality, but this is not a fact, it only fiction. What's the problem with believing we're an ego or a person? We feel small and extremely vulnerable. We're afraid of bad things happening to us. We're afraid of illness, getting old and dying. We're afraid of losing the things we have and not getting the things we want. We live in a state of lack, believing there's not enough love, health, happiness, not enough life. And even worse, when we believe we're not enough, none of this is true. In fact, it is the very opposite of the truth. We can never have true lasting happiness while we hold on to the belief that we're only a person. The tragedy and comedy of the human condition is that we spend most of our lives thinking, feeling, acting, perceiving, and relating on behalf of an illusory self. The ego isn't who you are, but it makes so much racket, you can't hear who you really are. If you keep it going, if you keep feeding it water, the ego, it's madness. I think everyone is suffering from person poison, living life too personally, perceiving life too personally, taking things too personally. When you're responding to life in a personal mode, it is a form of blindness. You don't see things in their correct light. You're most certainly experiencing a body, experiencing a mind, and having an experience of it being a person. But these are actually the least parts of you. And ultimately, they are not you. Because when they end, you do not end. There's no people in people. But there is a real you. Why is it so hard to see through the ego, to let go, to stop believing in the solidity of that of the little guy? When do we hold on to the apparently real self, the beneath when beneath and around and above and swimming all through it is this gorgeous other reality that really is real, that can be counted on for sustenance, for perfect peacefulness. Why deny ourselves this for the sake of something so paltry, but pale tree by comparison, for a thing that causes so much trouble, even pain? The ego, the ego, personality, moods, the real self, surrendering to the real self, allowing the real self to make the decisions, not the small place from the ego, but I'm giving up your decision making to the real, true self, the one that is beyond. We can't understand it, but we can't trust it because we know that it has the greater good, has the best for us, the greatest timeline. It knows it wants to push us in the direction of growth and expansion and love. It has the best interest of us. The ego, beautiful because it is imaginative creation. That's why I believe my personality is very colorful and stuff, because what I do with my ego is just I allow my ego to be created by my imagination. So like, I would be kind of funnily expressing myself, but genuinely that's who I am, because my thoughts create this kind of expression. I have a funny way of thinking. So I'm this being. I'm a very philosophical, very, how to say it, like, I love asking questions because I wasn't allowed to ask questions when I was younger, and all I was doing in school was asking questions. However, I asked those questions in my mind, too afraid to voice anything I was thinking, because I thought I would have been shut down completely if I voiced my opinion and how I felt, and if I had a question as why I had a question in school once. I was like, why are we studying maths? Like, what is the purpose of mathematics, right? Because I genuinely wanted to know. I was in love with maths so much when I was in Form 2, like in Guyana. I loved it so much. I just wanted Miss to tell me, like, what's the purpose of it? And she couldn't give my answer that made sense. She was just like, you need it for when you go to college or something. And I was like, but in my head, right? I didn't actually say it back. Usually I does, but in my head I was like, or did I say it loud? I can't remember if I told her that. Then why are we doing it for? If you don't have a purpose, then why? I don't understand why we're doing it if you don't have a purpose. What is the purpose? I really truly believe if she had given me a proper answer at that age, that could have changed so much things to me, because I loved science. I loved it so much, and when I left and I went Guyana, the dream of science, it became dull. It became lost. I came back to Trinidad and I tried to see, and it was just way too much. The move of moving back to Trinidad, I could not keep up with sciences. It would have literally ruined my mental health, my everything, my whole life. When I came back over here, after I lived in Guyana for 5 years, was just trying to settle down in my head, in my mind, moving from one place to the next, from one school, the class, everything was just, it was just so overwhelming. It was just, everything was just too much for me to even be me. So now I'm just here, a person who loves to ask questions, because I have the power to ask questions. No one's going to tell me that I am wrong for asking these questions, because I've always wanted to, and now I'm catching up with the amount of questions that I have about life and about people and about my family and about the way I grew up, and certain things that happened that I believe were just very unfair. And why did that happen? And can it be resolved? Can it be forgiven? Can I forgive myself? Can I realize that these things that happened to me didn't happen to me because I deserved it? It happened because that is what life is like, and I'm a victim of life, in that way of looking at it. However, if I could look at the feeling of victimhood and have compassion, that look, I feel like a victim, and it's okay. I acknowledge my feelings. I'm valid for feeling this way because I believe I deserved so much more. That's why I felt turned down. because I had that self worth. Now I have to recognize that life is the way it is, and now I have to find a way to let that feeling breed with the realities of what life is. So it's like I would let myself have my high expectations. I would let myself dream to the highest of all. And I would also know when I get turned down by certain rejections and certain things happen, I know that it was always worth it. Every moment of me just being happy to be alive, taking it one step at a time, choosing to actually care about myself, choosing that because it took too long for me to actually achieve that. I'm not giving that up for anyone. I know how valuable it is, and I believe that I want to share that value, of what it means to reclaim your power and to actually take a hold of your life and take care of yourself the way that you know you need to be cared for. Do it and then share. That's my mission, share. I actually just want to keep going because I could go up to a whole hour talking. So I just watch readers for hours, like 3 hours on thing. And it's be really nice. But since I'm doing Instagram for now, since I don't have Wi-Fi to let my stuff go fastly, um I don't know. Like I'm just gonna have to wait until I get Wi-Fi. Or just post on Instagram and Facebook. And when I do get Wi-Fi, I'll post them one at a time on YouTube. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this oracle reading. It's an oracle reading. It's just directly, no cards, just books and confusion and coming to come and just being human. I really like to do that. I love how it is look when books come together like this, and especially how it's my favorite. Well, I just recently borrowed this, so I don't really agree with the philosophy too much, or I don't really agree too much with the philosophy of this. As a whole, if we get this to come down to more of a general means, maybe, but this is too much. This is like running around the bush. And this also, because when I started to read this book here, I realized I was not a failure. And the things that they were saying is just, I don't say them things to myself. I'm like, okay, well, I don't need to read this book because it's like redundant. This one also, I realize and understand what it means. It's like, it's just basically telling you, trying to show you your worth, like your own worth, so that you would realize how important your dream is, basically. So you won't just let anybody steal it away from you. And then this one, is it blasphemous to say that how this is like my Bible? But I'm not a Christian, so I don't really believe in blasphemy and all of them things. But I grew up like that, and I'm not sure if that's blasphemy. I used to blaspheme in the washroom when I was small. I was only 8 years old, 7, 8 years old. Right? I don't get baptized and thing. I in the washroom and I hear in church that people is be talking about how you can't use God's name in vain because they talk about how you get cast down and thing. So I go in the washroom and I was like, I said, in my head, right? I said, I think I curse and I use God's name in vain in my head. I can't remember exactly what I say. I will remember eventually, but right now it's like I'm not remembering. But I say God's name in vain and I curse with this in the same sentence. And I was literally waiting to be cast down. And I was like, with lightning. And this was like my first experimental thing. 7 years old. I was like, where's the lightning? I don't see the lightning. Or the thing. And God not angry with me. I don't feel like God angry with me. And then the guilt and everything started come. And then I started going and repent and whatever for myself. Because I was a good person since I was a child. I just want to be good, bro. Don't beat me, please. I'm going to be a good girl. That's the whole thing. But I'm a good girl. I've always been a good girl. I don't need to prove that to anyone. ever. I love you. Bye. Take care of yourself. Drink water and be good and be safe and be kind.